On.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us, and welcome to our first meeting of 2023. As we begin this morning's agenda, let us begin with our land acknowledgement. Let us take a moment to acknowledge that we are on the lands that have been and continue to be home to many Indigenous peoples, including the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, and the Huron-Wendat peoples. We are all treaty people. Many of us have come here as settlers, as immigrants, or involuntarily as part of the transatlantic slave trade in this generation or generations past. We acknowledge the historic and continued impacts of colonization and the need to work towards meaningful reconciliation with the original caretakers of this land. We acknowledge that Metrolinx operates on territories and lands covered by many treaties that affirm and value the rights of Indigenous communities, nations, and peoples. We understand the importance of working towards reconciliation with the original caretakers of this land. At Metrolinx, we will conduct business in a manner that is built on a foundation of trust, respect, and collaboration. So thank you. I will now invite Steve Weir to share a safety briefing with us this morning. Steve?
Thank you, Chair, and members of the Board of Directors, and for those watching online. I wanted to bring the Board up to speed on something you may have seen on the 6 o'clock news, watching the news a couple weeks ago, but a text for help service that's been launched by Metrolinx. We are very pleased to report that if you press 5 sevens anywhere in our network, well, you don't have to be on the network, but presumably for a customer on the network, 5 sevens put you in immediate contact with somebody in our network operations control center, and live dispatcher will be able to respond to you immediately. We have a target of trying to respond to these customers within 90 seconds, and so far we're about 40 seconds. It's only been live for about 2 weeks, and we've had hundreds of interactions. Hundreds of interactions doesn't mean that they're telling us things that are unsafe, just means it's a new discreet way for them to get in touch with us. The majority of the interactions we have are for lost and found or for types of, travel information, but there have been medical emergencies, safety security incidents on the train where a customer in the past would have hit the yellow strip on the train. Why this is great is it allows our customers to talk to us discreetly, which is something we heard from our customers they wish to do. Being the one that presses the yellow strip draws immediate attention to that you're reporting something. It also allows us to have two-way communication with the customer to find out what the actual issue is and be able to keep the train moving and get emergency services where the customers and the issue actually need it. Happy to tell you that if you're talking to your friends and families, please tell them about the 5 sevens. It's really been well saturated throughout the public already. And just wanted to let you know that we're really excited about this service, and it's really working well for our customers and keep our trains moving on time and safe.
Thank you, Steve. Yes.
I think you mean 77777, right?
Did I say not 5 sevens?
Yes, but it's not 5 7. It's 5 times 7, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. It's 7 5 times.
Yeah, I know. It's just that some people would type 5.
I will never say it that way again, so that it's understood.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay, thanks.
Well done.
Thank you, Steve. So before we continue with the board meeting, I want to take a moment to recognize our friend and previous director, Michael Krawalczyk, who resigned from the board of Metrolinx in December last year to take up his appointment to the Ontario Land Tribunal as chair and full-time member, an organization that because of our land part, our expropriations and whatever, often come before that tribunal. Michael has been a member of our board since 2019 and brought to Metrolinx a very deep understanding of the real estate and land development industry. He helped to establish our Metrolinx Real Estate Committee and provided strategic oversight and direction over the development of Metrolinx's market-driven transit-oriented development program and the enterprise real estate strategy. During his time with Metrolinx, Michael actively sought opportunities to develop and promote Metrolinx's profile and reputation. He facilitated the development team involved with the Advanced Management Development Program in Real Estate, an executive education program run by Harvard University's Graduate School of Design. In both 2021 and 2022, international cohorts of real estate professionals were hosted by Metrolinx and visited sites throughout Toronto, the Union Station Rail Corridor in 2021, and Exhibition Place, Ontario Place in 2022. As part of an annual team project focused on envisioning development plans for an important urban center. Michael, I just want to say on behalf of the board, we thank you for your service, and we'd like to present you with a unique plaque in recognition of all you've done for Metrolinx over the year. We wish you all the very best in your new endeavor, and we really miss you on this board.
With a lot of prestige in my new office, and I just wanted to say to my former fellow board of directors, it was an awesome time during growth at Metrolinx, and I watch the news every day, and I'm a big supporter of what we're doing, and certainly the staff has been great, very professional. I'm only a phone call away up at 655 Bay Street in case you need any help. So really thank you for this, and wish you continued success. Thank you.
Okay, before we get into the detailed presentations, I want to just comment on some correspondence that's been distributed to the board. We have a letter from the Agincourt Village Community Association received January the 18th regarding the McCowan subway station parking. A letter from C. Williams received Feb 11 regarding GO expansion. A letter received Feb 13 regarding Metrolinx hiring practices. A letter from AB received February the 15th regarding Presto passes. A letter from Moss Park Coalition received February 16 regarding the Ontario Line Moss Park Station project plans. On our agenda today are our usual quarterly reports, along with updates on Rapid Transit, GO, and UP capital projects, our ridership campaign, and communications and community engagement activities. I'll now invite Phil Verster, our CEO, to give his report.
Thank you very much, Chair. And before I begin my report, I'd like to acknowledge that this month, Metrolinx is celebrating Black History Month. Our theme is Journey to Equity. And observing this month of significance supports our equity, diversity, and inclusion for all of our employees, as well as for the communities we serve. So in addition to many employee events this month, we are also sharing stories of community members who demonstrated and continue to demonstrate excellence through their lifelong advancement of progress and equity. You have likely seen billboards across the region highlighting these individuals, and we also have murals on the Bay Concourse here at Union Station that we're very, very proud of. We encourage everyone to take time this month to learn more about our Black history, Canada's Black history, as we all continue our journey to equity. And next month, we look forward to celebrating Women's History Month and International Women's Day. If I reflect on some of our performances in the last period, we're very thrilled by expansion of the Presto contactless credit payment to Durham, York Region, Burlington, and Hamilton transit systems, and giving customers more choice, more flexibility, more convenience, and making transit more seamless. We're also working with the TTC to deliver these new payment options and choices, we call it open payments, to their riders as well. And we recently completed installing some of our new devices on TTC streetcars, and we're now installing new devices on TTC buses as well in preparation of this contactless credit card transaction. Even more exciting, in the coming months, we look forward to also roll out contactless debit payments beyond just the Up Express, and then also introducing a virtual Presto card for your in-wallet transactions. So going more digital, allowing more seamless transactions is very firmly part of our plans to roll out this year. Ridership continues to grow steadily, and we saw in January a 54.6% ridership recovery relative to the pre-COVID ridership. And that's on Go, but 62.5% on Up Express, which is very popular. These improvements were largely driven by weekend and leisure travel, as well as with innovative partnership, like our partnership with 40 Creek Whiskey and Mothers Against Drunk Driving Canada to offer free Go Transit and Up Express services on New Year's Eve. And starting next week, a 30-minute service will continue after 9 p.m. between Union Station and Aldershot Go. And schedules are also being adjusted to provide more consistent departure times and to allow some trains to make longer stops at Exhibition and at Oakville Go stations. And in January, additional Go bus services were introduced on several routes, serving Brampton, Guelph, North York, Hamilton, Vaughan, and along Highway 407 from Oshawa all the way to Oakville. Now, seasonal trips were added to routes serving Wilfrid Laurier University, McMaster University, Ontario Tech and Durham College, and the University of Toronto Scarborough and the University of Waterloo. We continuously assess our ridership and the trends and the feedback from our riders in terms of where services need to expand, and we're keeping this very live. And our e-ticket sales, which is a very significant part of supporting our sales and ridership, is going very well. And through Go Transit and Up Express, we provide clearly services to millions of customers annually, and we do that with a strong focus on safety. We are very concerned about incidents of violence in our community, and we see more and more of that in the community itself. Fortunately for us, the incidents on our network remain very, very low, and we continue to implement additional safety initiatives for customers and staff, including the recent launch of the Text for Help service, whereby someone can text help by typing 7777 and 7, so 5 times. And Steve took us through that in the safety moment, and this is a very big and positive measure for us because it allows people to reach out to our staff confidentially. And customer protection officers continue to be deployed, our own special constables continue to be deployed throughout our operating area, on our stations, visible, are trained to respond calmly, are effective in many types of situations, focus on de-escalation of situations rather than escalation, include crisis response, skilled at mental health, medical crisis, and drug overdoses. It's quite phenomenal what our special constables and our customer protector staff are trained in. It's quite phenomenal. It's a team that I'm very impressed with. And then, of course, we have a K9 unit as well, which is deployed, actively patrolling our stations and rail lines. Just before I step off, last month, again in the spirit of safe and effective operation, because trains that run on time is a safer railway as well, we implemented a closing of train doors 1 minute earlier than what we call wheels rolling time. And that's an important measure for us. And what that has done is that departure from the origin station is better, and therefore arrivals at the intermediate station is better, and therefore the overall punctuality of our service is better. Would like to say thank you to our customers for the way they've responded and taken this on board. We had questions in the beginning, and we answered those, and we will continue to answer these questions as we go along. But it's been amazing to hear from customers how they feel that they understand it and that punctuality has improved. On construction, Andrew and Stephanie is going to give you much more of the highlights, but what I'd like you to consider at this point is that we're excited that the tunneling on Scarborough officially began a few weeks ago, and we are 75 meters down that tunnel already. It's a phenomenally big tunnel, and it's very impressive. We also completed structural construction for the expansion of Finch West subway station to accommodate the new Finch West LRT, and have begun work on the next phase of construction. On our Union Station enhancement project, construction on the new South Concourse has started, and this project will deliver wider platforms and more convenient access to and from the different concourse levels, unlock and increase service levels across the network, and allow more trains to use Union Station. Now, Stephen and Andrew is going to give you a much better view of what that looks like. And as we bring our capital projects and long-term benefits to communities, we are very aware of the impact that our projects have on communities as well as on First Nations. Our teams are on the ground every day, connecting with First Nations and connecting with our communities directly to understand their viewpoints, to incorporate feedback as much as is possible. For example, in Durham region, our team hosted 17 pop-up events last quarter alone to keep residents informed about the GO expansion program, the Bowmanville extension, and Durham Scarborough rapid transit projects. We also continue our briefings with elected officials to share updates on construction activities and capital projects. Within the last quarter, we met with City of Brampton Council, Niagara Region mayors, Durham Region Council members, and MPPs from the region of Waterloo, Toronto City councillors, and federal MPs. Last month, we held the first round of public engagement on our proposed Queen Street Highway 7 bus rapid transit, which will allow riders to travel from the west end of Brampton all the way to Vaughan Metropolitan Centre, another extended bus route. We have also been consulting with First Nations and communities along the Eglinton Crosstown West extension, particularly with regards to their concerns about tree removals. We have incorporated feedback from the community, including changing the location of the access road and limiting tree removals on the south side of Eglinton Avenue West. We have also launched a design and restoration working group to seek further First Nation input into the restoration of the parks and some design elements of the project. We are committed to deliver restoration plans. We are committed to work with the First Nations, and we are committed to implement as much as we can to mitigate the impacts of our programs. We only remove trees when it's absolutely necessary, and this is also the case for those trees being removed at Osgood Hall and Moss Park for the construction of the Ontario line. We are listening to First Nations and communities and their concerns, and appreciate all the views that are being shared. In the end, the choices we make are about our customers, the riders. It's about safety of the people that will use these transit solutions for the next 150 to 200 years. And that's the spectrum of choices that we exercise for the long-term objective of transit. Partnership with First Nations, communities, and stakeholders will always continue as we go into construction and we figure out how to do construction as effective as possible through our construction liaison committees. If I briefly, before we move on to the next agenda, make a comment and take a moment to acknowledge that Metrolinx was named the winner of Canada's Top Employer for Young People in a special announcement magazine co-published with the Globe and Mail on January 24th. This award recognizes employers offering the nation's young people great working places and programs to start their career. We regard awards like this not necessarily as a pinnacle of achievement, but rather as a humbling starting point of doing more. And so, while it's great to receive something like that, it's also very humbling and probably better for us to just think about what we can do more of and stay within the spirit of making our organization and the stuff we do as attractive for young people as we can. We will continuously work to be better, even better, and keep on creating a workplace that will attract and retain talent. where employees of every age can be their very best. That's one of the biggest things we try to achieve. I'll now ask Andrew Hope and Stephanie Davis to provide some updates on our capital projects.
Okay. Thank you very much. Very pleased to be here with the board and anybody watching online today to provide some updates on some of the recent progress on our rapid transit projects. I'll start at Exhibition Station, where we are in the early stages of constructing what will eventually be a new station that will serve both the Ontario line and our GO Transit passengers at Exhibition Station. And what you can see here in the image is some of the work that's taking place on a location known as 1 Atlantic Avenue, which is just north of the existing Exhibition Station, where we are excavating a future entrance to Exhibition Station. So this work has been underway for about a year and a half. There's been demolition work. We're now into pouring the foundations for the future entrance here. This will be followed by a new tunnel connecting into Exhibition Station. And we're also in the process of building foundations for a new temporary pedestrian bridge that will help people maintain their access to Exhibition Station from Liberty Village into Exhibition Place and Ontario Place during the construction activity that's going to happen for the next several years at Exhibition Station to keep access safe and efficient for all of our passengers. Moving on to Hurontario LRT out in Mississauga and Brampton. This is an image of the maintenance and storage facility that is being built. It's located in Brampton, just south of Highway 407, just off the main line, which will run up and down Hurontario and Hurontario Street in Mississauga and Main Street in Brampton. So this maintenance and storage facility is nearing completion, so it's a good sign for the overall progress of the project. This is where all the trains, there's 28 LRVs, or light rail vehicles, that will be servicing the line when it's in operation in a couple of years' time. And this is where all of those vehicles will be maintained, cleaned, any repairs done. And so it's quite an impressive building, and I had the pleasure of going out to actually tour it in person on Friday with the team. So very good sign of progress on Hurontario, and it's exciting to see this what will be the nerve center of the project coming to nearing completion. Moving on to Eglinton Crosstown LRT. Happy to be here today to present some recent progress in getting Eglinton Avenue back to normal, and that is the completion of much of the surface construction activity that's been taking place in the locations in the center part of Eglinton Avenue where underground station construction has been taking place for many years. Over the course of November, December, and into early January, much of that very visible surface work has come to an end, or is coming to an end over the vast majority of the corridor, and the lanes and roads and sidewalks are being reopened to the public, which is a very good sign that the project is nearing getting close to the finish line. So a couple of locations where we still have some work to finish, and our contractor CTS still has some work to finish, most notably at Yonge and Eglinton, which is the flagship station of the line, where there is still there's very good progress happening at the station, but still some utility and road restoration work to happen in that location, which we expect to be finished later this year. But over the balance of the line, things are getting back to normal, which is a good sign. Chair.
Andrew, one of our directors online had a question that's not exactly to do with Eglinton, but it's in there. And that's that we hear about a lot of the challenges and whatever we're having on that particular project in the press and elsewhere. Maybe you could give us just an overall view of what's happening with our other projects in terms of meeting deadlines and schedules. Some of the projects you've talked about.
Yeah.
Just generally.
Yeah, in general, look, these are a lot of the projects we build in the rapid transit part of CPG are these long linear projects. They're complicated, they're complex. There's a lot of moving parts, but I would say, whether it's Eglinton, Crosstown, obviously there have been some delays in finishing the construction work. We're getting close to finishing the construction work, and the focus is now very much shifting to testing and commissioning. If we look around some of the other projects in terms of progress, Finch West LRT is progressing very well. We're getting near to the end of the construction on that project as well, and moving into testing and commissioning, and expect that line to open hopefully later this year. Here, Ontario, I spoke a bit about earlier, and the progress that we're making there with the maintenance and storage facility, but there's a tremendous amount of activity now going on. If you drive up and down that corridor on actually track installation activities, the base of our first stop has been installed in the recent weeks. So you're seeing continuing progress on all these projects, and many of them, Eglinton and Finch, will be the first to be completed, but they are beginning to near completion, and that's ultimately what we want. We want these projects completed and in service so they can serve the public.
Thank you.
Okay, so speaking of Finch West LRT, which was the next project I was going to highlight here, you can see an image here of one of the entrance buildings for the Humber College stop, which is the western terminus of the Finch West LRT when it comes into operation. So this is the steel structure of one of the entrances down into to the platform level. This is a major milestone on the project. This structural steel having been installed, they can now move into final finishing activities at the Humber College station. We had about 6,500 kilograms of steel used in the construction of Humber College station, so quite an impressive engineering feat. In other news on the project, we're making very, very good progress on the vehicles front. We have our 13th LRV of the total fleet of 18 is now on site at the maintenance and storage facility, which is in the vicinity of Jane and Finch. All 18 vehicles have been manufactured and are in various stages of testing and commissioning, but on schedule for delivery when the project opens later this year. We're expecting construction on Finch to largely wrap up by this summer, and then again, just like Eglinton, but it's a slightly less complex project, we will be fully into the testing and commissioning phase as we get ready for operations. So a good sign to come, good sign of things to come there. And last but definitely not least for us, we had a major milestone just last month on the Scarborough subway extension project, where we have our tunnel boring machine, which we lovingly call Diggy Scardust, thanks to a public naming contest, which is the largest tunnel boring machine ever used for a subway project in Canada. It's 10.7 meters in diameter, and as Phil alluded to, it's quite an impressive machine, and also, as we've learned over the past few weeks, the tunnel that it's actually constructing is quite massive in scale. So we've completed about 75 meters of tunneling at this point. As Phil noted, we're underneath Shepherd Avenue. We're taking a brief pause in the tunneling activities as we install the third gantry, which is part of the equipment as it goes through the tunnel. That work should be completed over the next couple of weeks, and then we'll be fully into tunneling and commissioning, or tunneling all the way down to our extraction shaft, which is down at Midland and Eglinton. So very, very good progress, and really great to see. A great milestone for the Scarborough team, our contractor Strawbag. Very exciting to get to this point on the Scarborough project. And with that, I will pause if there's any other questions.
Anyone have a question they want to ask?
Just a quick one, Andrew. You might want us, because obviously we have an open and public session here, citizens might want to know, why is this tunnel so big?
Yeah.
As opposed to like 2 tunnels versus 1 tunnel. Maybe you can describe why we made these decisions, or why those decisions were made.
So this tunnel is large enough, and the conditions are right in terms of depth of the tunnel alignment that we're building. And I will give credit to our partners at TTC, who did a lot of the early design and planning work for this project, that we are able to do this one single large tunnel rather than two tunnels as we've used on other projects. This will accommodate both tracks, and there's going to be a bit of a sequence here. We're going to have to complete the tunnel, lay an invert slab in the bottom of the tunnel, which is where the tracks will sit, and then a dividing line through the tunnel. But it saves a lot of effort in the future because we don't have to build cross passages, as they're called, between the tunnels for emergency situations, or anywhere we need a crossover where the trains can switch from one track to the other. It's all in one contained tunnel, which is a lot simpler when you can accommodate it based on the depth of the tunnel that you're building, the geotechnical conditions, and the space that you have available to build the tunnel. So in this case, it worked out quite well, and there'll be a lot of benefits in the future for the remaining construction of the project.
Thank you.
Okay?
Question, Don?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Andrew, great report. Thank you for the update. But I have to ask the question, when will the Eglinton Crosstown open?
Okay. Well, I'll tell you one of the things that we are very, very focused on right now with our contractor is getting a robust and credible schedule to get through not the construction so much anymore. That we can see the end in sight on the construction, but it's the testing and commissioning activities that are absolutely critical. And it's not something we can shortcut. It's not something that there's any way to do faster than it's going to take. We need that to be done properly. We need that to be done according to all the requirements that are in the contract, because we want this line, when it's completed, to be safe and reliable for the public when it opens, and there is nothing more important than that. And that is what we're focused on right now, is getting a schedule for the completion of those activities that we can work with our contractor on and believe in and get through. So,
And because of that, we are not forecasting dates. We are focused on delivering and completing what we bought and making sure we get what we bought. This is a very important,
very much.
the most important focus at this stage of the project. Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you.
Okay, turn it over to you.
I don't see any other questions, so Stephanie, over to you for going up.
Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you, Andrew. I'm always pleased to be here at this forum to highlight some of the examples of progress that we're making across our expanding GO network. First off, the new Old Elm GO station work is progressing very well. This station was formerly known as Lincolnville, and the new relocated station will improve GO customer experience and improve frequent, reliant service in the region of York. So far to date, our team has completed the new East platform, which will serve our trains, as well as a new bus loop on the site. Work is also almost 90% complete for the ancillary building, platform canopy, and entrances. We're looking forward to preparing the station for operational readiness later on in this spring and welcoming passengers to the new Old Elm station later this year. On the Barrie Corridor, critical work is underway to prepare for double tracking much of the railway under our overall GO expansion program. We've started the work on the south end of the corridor in our more urbanized and construction challenging areas. Work is progressing very well across a number of geographic zones that interplay through other projects that are also happening on this corridor, such as the Davenport Diamond rail crossing separation. We're reaching about 85% completion in half of our zones. We're working on track bed grading, soakaway pits and culverts for optimal drainage, noise wall installation to reduce disturbance to adjacent property owners and local communities. And construction will mobilize on the remaining 3 zones once those adjacent interfacing projects are complete. In addition, design has nearly reached completion for the Downsview West platform, improving access and services at the Downsview station, and as well widening of the Shepherd Avenue Bridge. Ultimately, this work will help us to deliver more frequent, 2-way, all-day service from Union to Barrie in the future by reducing property utility and community risks prior to the start of our encore track and station works. Now heading west to our Guelph Central GO station. This work is underway as part of our overall Kitchener Extension program. Last month, we completed relocating the north mini platform, pouring all the structural concrete for retaining walls and columns for the shelters on the south platform. As you can see in the photos, work is underway to install our platform canopy steel and electrical and other associated works. On the right, you'll see a barrier that we erected, not a very interesting photo, but I'll explain why it's really relevant and important to us. We erected this fence alongside the tracks, and this enables our works to progress much more productively and quickly than our typical ways or traditional ways of constructing next to live rail corridors and rail tracks. And as we ramp up construction near our active GO rail corridors in the coming years, we are steadily increasing these types of measures and ways of working across all of our projects. Working behind these barriers, whether it's temporary fences or constructed walls, improves our ability to safely work without disrupting or slowing down our important operations and train schedules, and also helps us to increase productivity so contractors don't need to stand down equipment or their crews while revenue or freight trains pass through the limits of work. So a very, very key improvement and way of working that we're deploying across our network. Back down into the City of Toronto, we want to highlight two specific projects in and around the Bloor Go and Up station that have a significant impact to how that station functions and how we provide access to our customers to access our services. First contract has been awarded and is in construction for a fourth track on the Kitchener line in and around Bloor Station. This will bring improvements to a new community space along the West Toronto rail path that parallels our corridor in this area. We'll also be installing noise walls to reduce the noise from our increased services to the communities that are adjacent. And this new track will, again, enable future high-frequency two-way service on the corridor. We are also improving access to the station. The photo you see on the left here is an area where there will be a new entrance building on the east side of the tracks near Randolph Avenue, which again will improve our ability to have walkable neighborhoods and access to transit in and around this existing Bloor station. This year, our teams will continue to work north of Bloor Station and lay the foundation for additional tracks. And track work itself is anticipated to start this year, mid-2023. Second contract that's happening in and around Bloor is one that's been talked about for quite a while. This is a connection from the Bloor Go station, Go and Up station, to the Dundas West TTC station, which will provide a seamless and direct pedestrian link between those two important networks. The connection will pass through a residential and commercial complex via the underground parking structure. And as many people know, this project and this connection has been discussed really since the Bloor station was opened in the mid-1970s. And while when we had one-way GO service in peak times only, there was not significant benefit. Now we are proceeding to complete that connection and construct that connection to make sure that our future bidirectional high-frequency service on Go and Up are interconnected with our TTC services as well, with the city's TTC services as well. The two contracts work together, both the pedestrian connection between Dundas West and Go and the fourth track expansion on the rail corridor to really improve and make this urban station high frequency with significant access to customers at this important interchange station. The Bloor TTC connection project itself is in procurement and will start construction later this year after it's awarded. And lastly, but certainly not least, our Encore project has hit a notable milestone in late 2022. Geotechnical investigation is now underway across the network and will continue through this project's development phase. First boreholes were drilled in November of 2022, and this represents the first on-site, on-corridor intrusive project work for this really, really important cornerstone project. We will be undertaking about 4,000 boreholes, all up and down every rail corridor at a target spacing of about 150 meters, and this provides important geotechnical information that supports foundational infrastructure works, including track beds, structures, retaining walls and noise walls, and electrification foundations for our expanded GO expansion program. And all of this is with the end goal of meeting the needs of our region through high-frequency bidirectional rail service, which is the ultimate mandate of GO expansion. That's all I have to say. Happy to take questions.
Questions? Anyone have? Getting away lightly, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was a very good presentation by both of you. Thank you very much. Okay. The next item is Let's Get Ready to Ride, and Sharon and Rick, I think, are going to do this.
did you know Hamilton actually has a lot of really cute boutiques? And if you take the GO train, it's just a quick, easy trip from Toronto.
Are you aware of all the sweet perks that comes with a Presto card? Such as saving 20% off regular and general admission at places like the ROM, the Ontario Science Centre, the Hockey Hall of Fame, and the Toronto Zoo.
Now with Presto, you can tap on and off with your credit card, including the card on your phone or watch.
Didn't even need an introduction. So Rick and I were feeling pretty optimistic, so we asked if we could just play the video first, because we have some pretty encouraging ridership numbers that we wanted to share with you that really is making us feel very optimistic. So as Phil mentioned, we are slow but steady, but there are some 4 highlights that I wanted to share with you with respect to our ridership numbers. The first is the really encouraging strong recovery of the youth and student market. We're actually seeing an 84% recovery rate, so comparing that to 50% of adults. These are our future riders, so that is incredible. And in fact, the youth portion of that segment has recovered at 117%. The key to this has obviously been the alignment of the right services, the generous 40% discount that was announced, and also a very highly targeted full funnel campaign that's exceeding all of our platform benchmarks. So that has been incredibly successful. Secondly, our weekend ridership is currently sitting at 99% recovery. So this was bolstered obviously by the return of a lot of our weekend service. 99.5% of our weekend service has returned. And then also our Go Beyond campaign targeting our e-ticket passes, which continue to be such an attractive offering for riders. Lastly, I just wanted to mention that the return of express trips has resulted in an 11% increase in riders on the Lakeshore West and 6% increase for Kitchener. So customers are definitely benefiting from those time savings.
And Sharon, is it fair to say that in terms by individual travelers, we are back to the 2019 pre-COVID level by individuals?
Absolutely. So right now our customer base is at 94%, but it did reach a high of 100% in September. So those customers are coming back, and our focus right now is to get them to come back just a little bit more. So what you'll see are some initiatives we'll talk about that will trying to get that one extra ride. That's our priority over the spring and into the summer. So as a brand team, we are consistently monitoring trends. We want to position our brands and programs as the solutions to human problems. That's where the magic happens. That's where those sales start to happen. And there were 2 really interesting trends that struck me very, very recently, actually, that our programs and brands are aligning to. And the first is that 51% of Canadian parents are really struggling with this digital lure with their children. Like, it continues to have obviously proliferated during the pandemic. So they're struggling with that. And the second one is that Canadians obviously are feeling the financial freefall. And in fact, one of the stats that I read was quite sad. 40% are reporting that they're spending so much money on essential items that they have very little left to spend on things and experiences that bring them joy. And that really, really struck me. So when I think about our brands and our programs, there are 2 that really stand out to help to solve those problems for Canadian parents and our regional adults. The first is our Presto Perks program. When I last met with you, we had 54 Perks partners that had signed on for the fiscal. We're now at 63, which is incredible. And that has actually netted out to about 90,000 redemptions of our perks so far. We're launching a campaign this spring targeting families, reminding them over March break that they can take advantage of all these awesome offers. And the second is Kids Go Free. You'll recall we launched this back in 2019, and we were all very, very excited about it. And I think we had 1 year to build awareness of this program, and then were foiled by COVID. So we're very excited to relaunch and raise awareness of this program. We're at about 30% awareness right now, so it's a huge opportunity. It's got so much potential, and will obviously take the sting out of the cost for parents and help them pull their children away from those screens and have them look out maybe the window of a train instead and go on some family adventures. So we're kicking off this weekend, actually. So if you're around at your concourse, you can come and actually get your own toy pass for your kids. So it's just a cute way that we can drive awareness to the program. Bring your toy along, get a photo, get your own card, and then start to take some adventures on Go. And if you miss us this Saturday, don't fear. You can go and get your own online, or our frontline staff will also be staffed with DIY ones that you can do yourself. So that campaign will run throughout the spring to raise awareness of this pretty awesome initiative. One other aspect of our marketing strategy is these brand activations. They are a great way as a brand to endear ourselves, to maybe speak to audiences that we've never talked to before, and change perceptions of our brand. Before the pandemic, actually in 2019, we ran 12 activations, which we were incredibly proud of. This year, we will net out with 30 activations, some of them multiple days. So the team has been incredibly hardworking on our activation file. And when we tallied up the numbers, we're looking to, I think the estimate is about 50,000 one-to-one engagements on our brand. So the next one coming up actually kicks off on tomorrow is the Auto Show. Highly anticipated, hasn't been around since 2020. It attracts hundreds of thousands of people. So we will be at the Auto Show with a pretty cheeky medical-themed activation to check your car sickness symptoms. The Auto Show was very supportive of it. So you can come and you can get some giveaways, maybe a can of ginger ale or a car sickness bag, so you can come and check us out there. But every ride counts, as I mentioned, and we do have a rider frequency task force. And I had mentioned it briefly in December, but just wanted to kind of bring you up to speed on that. They are spanning the sales, marketing, customer service, and product team, and they're diligently focused on key segments to accelerate and sustain our recovery. So we're looking at commuters and how we can encourage them to take one more ride, and maybe it's a leisure ride instead of a commuting ride. Looking at those infrequent riders and see how we can get them to take maybe 1 or 2 extra trips a month, a year. And also looking at those non-riders, people who we are just starting to talk to. They've never tried Go Trans before. So talking to them about attracting them with some of these offers, Kids Go Free, and the group passes, lots of opportunities for them to come and try out our service. So over the coming months, you'll see a lot more initiatives. Go Beyond will continue to drive that messaging to inspire those trips. We also have critical newcomer and multicultural segmented campaigns coming. And we're supporting Frankie Bay and his customer service team, because we know that getting people on the train is one thing, having them to continue to return is another. So we'll be looking at supporting his team with etiquette and safety campaigns, because we know that those two things are very, very important to the comfort and safety on board. And we want to continue to remind people that Go is a great, comfortable and safe ride for you. And now I'll hand it over to Rick for a sales update.
Thank you, Sharon, and welcome everybody. My section really focuses on, from the Get Ready to Ride report, is a highlight of recent partnerships, programs, activations that many teams across Metrolinx, we work together to deliver in partnership with strategic partnerships to welcome back our riders and enhance their experience. And partnering with these strategic partners not only deliver critical non-fare revenue for Metrolinx, but also, again, play a very critical role in welcoming back our riders and building customer engagement and enhancing the experience while they're on our network, either on train, bus, or at a station. We've highlighted some recent partnerships here on the slide that you can see, specifically working with partners like Tim Hortons, where as part of our expansion of our retail network, we've delivered a new location at Burlington Go. As mentioned earlier, partnering with 40 Creek and Mad Canada to ensure safe travel on New Year's Eve, so joining our initiative and help supporting that and promoting it. Visa and American Express, who've supported our launch of credit card contactless payment, and again, creating a customer awareness program to be able to tap with credit card, but also rewarding, incentivizing customers for doing so. Hudson Bay and the Toronto Raptors, in which we partnered to provide a surprise and delight program for people coming into Toronto, taking in a Toronto Raptors game. So we had a pre-game live fan train with a DJ on board, which was very well received not only by those in attendance, but in the media as well. And lastly, looking at the next part of our retail expansion is providing enhanced vending. So an example there of Shoppers Drug Mart and many other vending players that have partnered with us to deliver much needed high quality food and beverage items and customer amenities across our network and also in the communities in which we serve.
And Rick, perhaps talk to the board a little bit about the trend that you're seeing with vending becoming more popular.
Absolutely. It's one of those things where we still want to provide high quality food offerings to our customers. It's something that over the years we've done a lot of research in what our customers are looking for. There's still a need and a desire for some of the larger outfits like a Tim Hortons to be on site. But we've seen a trend where not only in the marketplace where a wide variety of items and amenities, food and beverage are being delivered through vending. As an example, you can get a freshly baked pizza in 12 minutes through a vending machine. It's those type of offerings that our riders in the communities are really coming to us and seeking. And we found that even through the pandemic that vending was a very, very strong, not only revenue stream for us, but again, part of our customer satisfaction. It's saving those few trips. As an example with Shoppers Drug Mart, it's a necessity type item that's being included in those vending machines. So that saves a trip that you have to now take either on your way to a GO station or on your way home from a GO station. So that's something that we've worked very diligently with experts in the field to be able to provide to save our customers time and provide them with those type of offerings. And I guess I'll just close with we're not done yet. Our team is building a very strong pipeline of new partners and new programs to not only continue to deliver non-fare revenue for Metrolinx, but again, keeping a strong focus on the customer experience and enhancing the customer's journey.
Thank you.
Thanks. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Sharon. Exciting and a lot of progress, so congratulations. I just want to touch on some correspondence that we received from one a citizen that talks about our mandate to be open, accessible, inclusive, and a lot of the promotions you talk about are delivered via mobile apps, and this person quotes all the issues with that amongst a certain population. It can be seniors that just may have a smartphone, may not have, may struggle with, especially under the urgency of signing up and getting onto a train or bus, and really asking, are there other ways that we can deliver those, or is there a way we can make them more accessible to what they quote is a large segment of the population that may not have access or may not be able to navigate those mobile apps?
Is this specifically related to e-tickets and weekend passes?
Correct, exactly.
Yeah, we're definitely
passes, these types of things.
Absolutely, we're definitely aware of that, so we could take that away and discuss that with the FAIR strategy team and just understand kind of how we could, because I understand that.
Great. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item is communications and community engagement, and Kelly and Raj, I think, are going to do this.
Good morning, Chair, and good morning, board members. Great to be back here again. We're here to provide you with an update on our work since we were here last in our community engagement and capital communications program. At Metrolinx delivers on our purpose to improve lives through transit. The community engagement and capital communications team are focused on helping communities navigate through the construction disruption that they're experiencing.
As this slide is showing you here, the community engagement team has been busy over the last 3 months on the ground engaging with our residents and keeping residents and stakeholders informed. So we have conducted 174 pop-ups. We've engaged with over 6,000 residents during those. 38 canvases have been held. That's where we're knocking on doors. So almost 7,000 doors and interactions have taken place. We do hold stakeholder meetings and deal with direct correspondence deliver construction notices, and do have a newsletter. So the plug I always give at these is sign up to our newsletters. That's a really great place for residents to get up-to-date information on what we're doing or where we might be. So maybe now what we want to do in these sessions here is actually talk a little bit about those engagement activities that we are doing and how it applies to particular issues that we know many of our communities are experiencing. So we're going to take you through a couple of case studies to apply the way that we engage and what that does for us and for our projects.
And so the first one we're going to start with is traffic management. So traffic impacts from construction across all projects are proactively managed. And we work with our, municipal partners. We work with them in and around what other construction do they have planned in the area to ensure that, we're not going in there twice. We come up with traffic management plans. So for example, that we used here on YNSE, we've been working with the TTC, the City of Toronto. We've developed transit management plans. We've gone out with our CLC, or construction liaison committees, earlier than normal. So we're out there in advance of any construction start, talking to the local businesses, talking to the customers, talking to the residents and commuters, and providing them with updates in and around wayfinding, what they'll experience, roadway restrictions and detours, just to ensure that they've got it top of mind. And we're continuing, it's a constant drip that we have going. So thinking about, I think the last time we were here at board, there's a question that came up in and around, so that's great that you're doing this in and around the local specific area. What about those folks who are wanting to commute into, for example, City of Toronto, and they live out in Kitchener? How are you getting the message to them? So we did take that feedback back. We've been using Google Maps and Waze, and we've looked into that a little bit further and around, can we incorporate direct links into the active construction that's happening? So the answer is yes, we can through paid banner ads. So, we will be looking at incorporating that into future work that we do.
Another one here that we want to talk about is how we actually are addressing construction impacts before shovels hit the ground. And really what we do here is we try to focus on really listening and understanding the landscape of the communities that we actually are building in. One of the case studies here is around work that we need to do around a school or around a daycare. It's a really important, sensitive community space, and we do take the impact that we have in those areas very seriously, and safety is always first. So we want to pay particular attention to any of the work and the way we plan this work to make sure that the students, staff, surrounding community are safe and they can move around very easily. We're also, though, while listening to the community, really trying to dig deep and what are some of the mitigation strategies that we can offer with the support of our project teams and our contractors. We know that noise and disruptions are a really big topic, so we work closely with our contractors to come up with noise and mitigation strategies. A recent example was a hydrovac work that had to take place in a roadway, and we were able to shield that noise with sound barriers, temporary barriers that went up that reduced the sound for the community and the school. We are also working really closely with school boards and the schools and the school administration to develop the safety plans. So how are students traveling around the school? What time are their recess? How are they getting to different school functions or field trips, so that our safety plans are taking that into consideration. And we also, respect that there are certain activities that take place inside those buildings that we want to schedule our work around. A daycare nap time is really important. We like to make sure that our young residents get to have their nap, so we're often working with our contractors to schedule our noisy activity around nap time. We're also offering in our schools a program called Transit in Your Community, and this is a school-based program where we go in and speak to students in curriculums, grade 5. We talk to them very specifically about STEM, about jobs in the transit community around engineering. We also speak to them about safety and construction and how students should be mindful. But we know young minds love to see the types of equipment that get used. So rather than them hanging over a fence and looking at that kind of stuff during playground time, we're also in the classroom and in the school doing those presentations. So we work again really closely with the school boards and school administration to get these presentations scheduled. that's it.
Thank you. Questions? You know, you have a huge, we spoke about this recently, but you have a huge job to do, and so many different communities, and all have different needs and desires and whatever. It's a difficult job to please everybody. So.
Yeah, and I think, we don't take a one-size-fits-all approach, and that's why Raj and I have robust teams that are out in the community listening every day. While there are certain elements of our construction that are done in a standard way, we do listen to each of those communities that we're working in to find mitigation strategies that are going to work for them. It may not work for the neighboring community, but it's going to work for them.
Good. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Cool. So we're going to add a little something to the agenda. Our CEO gave a talk at the Empire Club last Monday, and there's a short video. I think it's a 3-minute video that will show capital project progress. And so we're going to air that now. Can you put that up? Thank you. Now, this is another example of there's so many projects going on, and they're not, they're all being done at the same time. Like, it's just an amazing amount of work. So, this is a good video, Phil. Thank you for sharing that. So next item on the agenda is our quarterly reports, which we take as read unless there are questions that any of the directors have that they'd like to ask to any of the SMT members. No? Okay, seeing none, we'll pass on that. And so that brings us to the end of our public session this morning. I thank everybody who attended, either in person or online. And we'll terminate that part of the meeting and go into closed session. Thank you.